here to talk about A Psalm for the Wild built by Becky Chambers. I'm looking a little wild here today myself, so we're just gonna go with it. I've been hearing about Becky Chambers as an author for a long time. I've kept meaning to try some of her works. I'm not a sci-fi reader, but this felt like a good entry into sci-fi because it's not like overwhelmingly over-the-head space opera, full-on sci-fi. And this book is only about 150 pages, so it's really more like a novella. So it wasn't a huge commitment. I could read it quickly. I could get a sense of it. So I decided to give it a go. The story, such as it is, starts with, so in a world, in either our world at a future date or a world very similar to ours. Unclear, although I get the sense it's actually a different planet because they keep talking about it being maybe a moon. But in any case, the humans had an industrial age with robots that did robot things like car assembly, things that we use robots for. At some point, the robots became conscious, and the humans gave them the option to live with them or to be free, I guess. And the robots chose to leave. So now about half of the land is human inhabited and half of it is wild and or robot inhabited. There's no communication between the two. There are gods. There are like 3 parent gods and 3 child gods, so there's religion in this world, but apparently not of the sort that anybody feels the need to start wars over. It's a very peaceful society. It's a very green, eco-friendly society. Humans, when they rebuilt their world, it's like there's solar and hydroponic, and there's it's kind of like what we should be doing. But in any case, that's the setup. So our main human character is named Dex. There's a lot of fuss in some reviews that the people found it confusing that Dex is a they, them. I admit for the first couple of pages, I was a little like, because it's not handed to you on a plate. It's just like they, them. It's not like there's a big statement saying, oh, Dex was they, them, or whatever. It's just like Dex, they, and then it just refers to Dex as they all the time. And somewhere later in the book, when Dex meets a robot for the first time, he asks the robot if it has gender, and it says no, and Dex says me neither. So that's kind of that's all of it. So Dex is a monk for a god whose name I will probably mispronounce, Alalei, or something along those lines. If I listen to audiobooks, I guess I'd know, but summer bear god and a garden god or a god of plants or something, because he starts out, they start out as a garden monk in the city where they have like gardens on rooftops and things. But they're tired of that, and they kind of have this, they start thinking about crickets, I guess, and they decide they want to get out of the city, basically, and they go become a tea service monk, where they take a wagon around to different little villages and learn to make teas to help people feel better when they come to them with problems. Dex basically just learns, good tea blends. They make up their own blends of tea, and they become very popular as this tea monk. And it's interesting because there is still technology in this world. Dex has like basically what sounds to me like a tablet. They're able to, let villagers know the next time they'll be there, and they're able to, email more essentially family, and They even have like an encyclopedia, so they keep looking up crickets. All this to say that even though Dex becomes a very good tea monk, that is still not fulfilling, that's still not satisfying. They are still kind of thinking about crickets, so one day they look up these cloud crickets and discover that they were like around an abandoned hermitage in the wilds, and they decide on a whim they're gonna go try to get to this old hermitage and find these crickets. I guess it's weird because the cricket thing kind of just falls to nothing about halfway through the book, which was a little bit, I don't know. In any case, it takes about 40 or 50 pages for this book, short as it is, to really kind of hit a stride, because it's only at that point when Dex decides they're going to go into the wilderness that the story really seems to pick up. Because they go off into the wilderness and meet a robot named Mosscap. And this is the first interaction between a robot and a human in however long since the parting promise, in which, the humans and the robots chose to live separately. Mosscap is curious about humans and has kind of been elected to go find out, make sure the humans are doing okay, because the robots are starting to be a little concerned, maybe? I don't know. Curious and concerned if robots can have those. I mean, they're conscious. I don't know. It's not well explained. Some of the technology here is a little, because Mosscap explains that Mosscap prefers to use it as its pronoun, that it is like a 5th generation wild built. So basically the robots that left, even though they could have been immortal and just kept going, chose at some point not to, and then other robots recombine parts of them into new robots, like wild built children of sorts. And so each robot has a lineage where they can say, well, this came down through these robots, and this part of me came down through these robots. Is kind of their form of genetics, I guess. And that, to me, was really pretty interesting. In any case, Mosscap has an interest in insects. And at that point, I'm like, okay, great. We're going to go with the cricket thing now. But Dex never talks about the crickets to Mosscap. He's not like, I was trying to go find these crickets. He's just like, I was trying to get to the hermitage. And I'm like, why? Why did we drop the cricket thing? That felt like, it would be. And the last line of the book is about the sound of the crickets. But the crickets themselves are never discussed between Dex and Mosscap. And I was just like, that did not make any sense to me. So anyway, so it's a largely philosophical tale of Dex and Mosscap presenting different points of view about life, the meaning of life, life and death, things like that, like the differences in their cultures, so to speak. And the robots know of the gods. I don't think they really worship the gods. The religious stuff in this world, like I said, it doesn't seem to prompt wars or anything. It seems all very sedate. But I liked it. I liked it more once, we got into the meat of the story. There's not a lot going on here because this is mostly philosophical. That's the word I'm looking for. Some philosophical ideology. And it was cute. I gave it 3.8 stars, 4 stars on Goodreads. I liked it. I'll probably read the second one, which is called A Prayer for the Crown Shy, I think. If it's equally short. But yeah, I mean, it was good. The sci-fi elements are not heavy here because there's like a fantasy element in the fact that the human world feels both modern and old-fashioned. It's an interesting blend. I would like to know more about the robots. I don't know if in the second book that he gets the Dex, they get to see or hear or learn more about the robots, since I think ostensibly Dex is supposed to bring Moscap with them to the human world, so it can learn and see. But I apologize. I keep wanting to say Dex, he, because I think Dex is a them, they, not only for the sense of inclusion. A lot of people, oh, it's woke or whatever. I feel like it's meant character that you, as a reader, kind of impress yourself into. Like, you can envision Dex however makes sense for you. I have a very, for a character who has no description, we don't know hair, eye color, height, build, skin color, anything, right? They're just Dex. And I think that's kind of the point. The point is, it doesn't matter what Dex looks like, what their gender is, because Dex could be anyone, including the reader. I have, for whatever reason, a very clear mental image of this character, just based on personality, I guess, which makes me want to say him, even though that would be incorrect and rude, right? And I live with a they, them. I know this, but, and there are moments when I forced myself, actually, while reading, to try and picture Dex differently, just to see if it felt different. It felt wrong to me. I was like, yeah, that to me does not feel like the character. I don't know why. It was an interesting reading experience. But yeah, so I don't think the they them thing is intentionally woke or anything. And I love seeing rep that's just there and not the point of the story, for a change. When I wrote The Fall and Rise of Peter Stoller, it won awards because the fact that he was gay was not the point of the book. It just was a fact. And I think we need, literature like that. Of course, I got a lot of people going, why'd you have to make him gay? And I was just like, okay. So yeah. And I thought it was interesting that Moscap, didn't find it rude to be considered it, and was confused when Dex was like, well, that just feels rude, and some of the cultural stuff were like, Moscap doesn't eat, it's a robot, but Dex feels weird eating in front of Moscap without offering it food, even though they know Moscap can't eat it. So Moscap and Dex come up with a ritual in which it makes Dex feel better to have to eat and not feel like they're excluding Moscap from that kind of cultural thing where you sit down and eat with the people around you. So yeah, little things like that. Those were nice touches. It's well written. The prose is pretty. I think there are times when I was like, I felt like some of the description was a little long, that kind of thing. It's very atmospheric. It very much, sets you in the place where you are, and you definitely it's all from Dex's point of view, even though it's third person, so you're getting a lot of Dex's complicated feelings, which, to some extent, anyone, I think, can identify with, that looking for satisfaction, feeling unfulfilled. Why isn't what I have enough? Again, those philosophical questions, but some of it was maybe a little repetitive or a little much, but overall, yeah, I liked it. Like I said, 3.8 stars in my spreadsheet, rounded up to 4 on Goodreads. If you've read it, let me know your thoughts. If you've read the sequel, let me know your thoughts about that too, but no spoilers, please. Should I read that? What's the one? A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet or whatever? That's the one I think was Chambers' big breakout book. Should I try it? Should I give it a go? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, take care.